name is Steven, son of Iswaran. My ID is DEM05200077 from batch 21. Today I am going to present about the introduction of security policy. Clear, detailed and well-defined policies, regulations and practices that are restricted access to an organization system and the information content we need to refer to as security policy. Information and system as well as individual employees and the corporation are all protected by good policy. And the purpose of the security policy is to protect person and information, define and authorize the penalties of violations, and specify the norms of unexpected use behavior provided your organization with information security direction. Include information security objective are provided information on how we will satisfy businesses, contractual, legal or regulatory obligations. Maintain a commitment to improving your ISMS on a regular basis. Institution security management system are the way to write a security policy. To implement or maintain the security policy, there are some successful steps or ways we have. Example, identify the risk, identify level of risk, security, set clear penalties and enforce them. Also, there are many other ways. Finally, the 5 main components of security policy are confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, and the non-repetition. Thank you. Morning. My name is Steven, son of Iswaran. My ID is DEM05200077 from batch 21. Today I am going to present about security policy standards and practices. Management must be considerate policies as basis for information security efforts. Policies direct how issues should be addressed and technologies used. Security policies are the most least expensive control to execute but the most difficult to implement. Shaping policy is difficult because policy must never conflict with laws which stand up in court. If challenged, be properly administered through dissemination of documentation, extensions for a policy to be considered effective and legally enforceable. Dissemination organization must be able to demonstrate the relevant policy has been made readily available for review by employee. Review organization must be able to intelligible form including version for illiterably non-English reading and reading impaired employee. Comprehension is organization must be to able to demonstrate the employee understand requirement and content of policy. Compliance is organization must be able to demonstrate that employees agree to comply with policy through act or affirmation. Uniform enforcement in the organization must be able to demonstrate policy has been informally enforced. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mr. Munindi here. My student ID number is DM052017. Today I'm going to explain about policy. Policy is a deliberate system of guidelines to guide decisions and achieve national outcomes. Policies are generally adopted by a governance body within an organization. Policies can assist in both subjective and objective decision making. Policies used in subjective decision making usually assist senior management with decisions that must be based on the relative merits of number of factors and as a result are often hard to test objectively. Policies to assist in objective decision making are usually operational in nature and can be objectively tested. Policies can be understood as a political, managerial, financial and administrative mechanism arranged to reach explicit goals. There have many types of policies. First of all, they have function of general or security program policies. The main function of the general security program is to secure funds Furthermore, to achieve the security, all tangible or intangible assets according to the IFRS, intangible assets are identifiable or non-monetary assets without physical substance. Another type of policy is system-specific security policies. Security policy is a function of what it means to be secure for a system, organization, or other security. For system, the security policy addresses constraint of function and flow among them, constraint on access by external systems and adversary security, including programs and access to data by people. And one more thing, system-specific security policy is a policy that functions as instructions or procedures that are to be used to when in configuring systems is a policy that function as instructions or procedures that are to be used when configuring systems.
Hi Miss, a happy day. My name is Manita Keswan. ID DEM 05200440 from Group 1. Today I would like to present about the why is it important to keep security policies. Okay, let I answer about it. The purpose of security policy is not to add the empty spaces of your bookshelf. Especially, security policies can stay over time if they are not actively maintained. At a minimum, security policies should be reviewed yearly and updated as they needed. It is good practice to have employees acknowledge receipt of and agree to abide by them on a yearly basis as well. So, in preparation for this event, review the policies through the lens of changes your organization has undergone over the past year. So, the question is, what new threat vector have come into the picture over the past year? And the security incident you experienced over the past year. Take these lessons learned and incorporate them into your policy. Security policies are living documents and need to be relevant to your organization at all your times. Thank you, Miss. Hi, Miss. Have a nice day. My name is Vanita Keswan. ID DEM 05200440-21 from Group 1. Today, I would like to present about the characteristic of a good security policy. If a security policy is written poorly, it cannot guide the developer and users in providing appropriate security mechanism to protect important assets. Certain characteristic makes a security policy a good one. Firstly, coverage. A security policy must be comprehensive. It must either apply to or explicitly exclude all possible situations. Furthermore, a security policy may not be updated as each new situation arises, so it must be general enough to apply naturally to new cases that occur as a system is used in unusual or unexpected ways. Next, durability. A security policy must grow and adapt well. In large measure, it will survive the system growth and expansion without change. If written in a flexible way, the existing policy will be applicable to new situations. However, there are times when the policy must change, such as when government regulations mandate new security constraints, so that policy must be changeable when it needs to be. An important key to durability is keeping the policy free from ties to specific data or protection mechanism and that almost certainly will change. For example, an initial version of a security policy might require a maximum 10 character password for anyone needing access to data, but when the workstation is replaced or moved, the policy guidelines become useless. It is preferable to describe assets needing protection in terms of their function and characteristic rather than in terms of specific implementation. For example, the policy on Sun Workstation could be rewarded to maintain strong authentication for access to sensitive student grades or customer property data. Better still, we can separate the element of the policy and one policy statement for student grants and another for customer property data. So, similarly, we may want to define one policy that apply through preserving the confidentiality of relationship and another protecting the use of the system through strong authentication. Next, realism. The policy must be realistic. That is, must be possible to implement the stated security requirement with existing technology. Moreover, the implementation must be beneficial in terms of time, cost, and convenience. The policy should not recommend a control that works but prevents the system or its users from performing their activities and function. So, sometimes the policy writers are seduced by what is fashionable in security at the time of writing. It is very important to make economically worthwhile investment in security just as for any other careful business investment. Thank you, Miss. Hi, Miss. Have a blossom day. My name is Vanita Kesavan. ID DEM05200040 batch 21 from Group 1. Today, I would like to present about the Enterprise Information Security Policy. So, what is Enterprise Information Security Policy? It's okay. I will explain about it. The Enterprise Information Security Policy is the high-level information security policy that means set the strategic direction, scope, and tone for all of an organization's security efforts. An enterprise information security policy is also known as a security program policy, general security policy, IT security policy, high level information security policy, and simple and information security policy. It guides the development, implementation, and management requests of the information security program. It must directly support the organization vision and mission statement. It must be defensible if legal challenges to it arise. Next, integrating an organization mission and objective into the enterprise information security policy explains a number of vital roles, not at least of which is the statement of importance, information security to the organization mission and objective. The enterprise information security policy should not contradict the organizational mission statement. However, it would be discreet for an institution to have policies that government assist and ensure that such assist does not interfere or create an unfriendly work environment for other employees also. Then Enterprise Information Security Policy (LMS) is an assigned duty for the various area of information security, including maintenance of information security policies and the practices and responsibility of end users. In specific, the Enterprise Information Security Policy guides the development, implementation, and management requirement of the information security program as which must be made by information security management and other specific security functions also. An overview of the corporate philosophy on security, information on the structure of the information security organization, and individuals who fill the information security role. So, fully articulated responsibility for security that are shared by all members of the organization, such as employers, contractors, consultants, partners, visitors, and unique to each role within the organization. At last, component of a good enterprise information security policy is statement of purpose, information technology security elements, need for information security, responsibilities, roles, reference to other information technology standard and guideline. That's all for me, Miss. Thank you.
Good morning, Miss. I am Samita, daughter of Opintaru. My number ID is PEM06202123. Today I talking about Issue Specific Secretary Policy ISSP. Profile detail focused screening to training the employer in study use of your system and start with creation to status enclosure technology possible of the employer service to guard work and employer from anaphylaxis and employee. Find how the aeroprior based total tonally machine is controlled and identify the nation and government that offer this control. ISSP topic clothing include ISSP topic should consist of digital mail, use of the internet and the World Wide Web. Particle minimum configuration of computer system to shield in opposition to worm and virus. Provocation in opposition to hacking or training are employed traditional controls. Domestic use of originality, word laptop device use of private device on originality networks, use of telecommunication technology and use of photocopy device. Components of the ISSP. Number 1 is authorized access and use of equipment. This equipment of the coverage address you can use the generation rules way wide of mean of the coverage and what it will be used for. Remember that an organizations as the researchers are the specific belonging of the organization and customer haven't any unique proper of use. Each generation and technique are fitted for conventional enterprise operations. Used for every other consequence of system. This decision defines truthful and accountable use of system and different organizations, essence and most must traditionally deal with key persons troubles including of safety of private statistics and privacy. Second is pure but uses of equipment. While the coverage assessment information what the problem or generation may be used for the assessment outline what it cannot be used for. Analyzing a select use is essentially provided the organization cannot penalize this personnel for misuse. The following may be prohibited personally used, received use or misused, crook use, and infringement of copyright, licensed or different hybrid belongings. Third is system management. There can be a few overlaps among an ISSP and a structured unique coverage. However, the declaration control assessment of the ISSP coverage declaration specializes in the used dating to declaration control. Specific policy from control consoles of regulation using email, the crisis of machines, materials, legal tracking of personnel, and the bodily and digital scrolling of email and different digital documents. This is crucial that each one must including a detail as belonging to both the researcher examination or the custom, otherwise each event can also additional infer that the upload to the opposite party. That's it. Thank you so much, Miss, to listening me.
My name is Robin Michael and my ID is DEM062056 and my batch is 21. Component of ISSP 4. Violation of policy ONS. ONS recommendation on gadget use had been mentioned and duties had been assigned. The people to whom the coverage applies have to apprehend the consequences and repercussions of violating the coverage. Violation of coverage of the convey appropriate now no longer draconian consequences. The space of the coverage declaration of to comprise no longer handed the specific of the consequences for every class of violation, however, additionally comments on how people within inside the employer can record, discover, or suspected violation. Many people experience that effective people within inside the employer can discriminate unmarried out or in any other case retaliate towards a person who review violation allowing nameless submission is regularly the handiest manner to pursue character customer to record the unauthorized spot of other greater influential personnel. 5. Policy review and modification because any record is a handiest toppers as frequency of assessment. Heavy coverage of the comprise tactics and the timetable for periodic assessment. As the desired and technology alternate with inside the employer so have the rules to the govern they use. This space out the comprise is a selected technique for assessment and the amount of the coverage to make the certain the customer do no longer start segmenting it because it's grow absolute. 6. Limitation of liability. This is very last attention is a standard declaration of legal responsibility or set of disclaimer if a direct worker is stuck engaging in unlawful sports with the organizational gadget or assets. Control does no longer need the employer held liable so the coverage of the kingdom that if personal violate organization coverage or any regulation the use of organization technology the organization will now no longer shield them and the organization is always chargeable for its action. It's inferred that any such a violation might be without the expedition or the authorization via a mean for employer. 7. Statement of a purpose, scope, and applicability definition technology address responsibilities. A declaration of a purpose SOP or additional refer to of declaration of intent within inside the context of making use of a graduate college or universities is an easy it is one of the maximum vital factors of your utility as it tells the admission committee who you are, why you are making use of, why you are an amazing candidate, and what you lost. Computer science common approaches to implementing ISSP. Number of independent ISSP documents, single comprehensive ISSP documents, model ISSP document that unify policy creation and administration. Recommended approaches is modular policy, which provides a balance between issue orientation and policy management. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Tanalachmi, the lecturer of Policy and Procedure, and my fellow friends. My name is Tavanisha, daughter of Venkataramana, from batch 21. My ID number is 05290 from Diploma in Customer Management. Today, I would like to present regarding system-specific policy. The includes users access list metrics and ability tables governing permission and privilege can control access to file storage system, object brokers or other network communication. Device access control list allow regulator to restrict access based on user computer time, duration and etc. Capability table, same method specifying topic and object that can be accessed by user or groups. Specification are often complex metric rather than simple list or table. Rule policy are more specific to the operation of a system than access control list. Configuration rules specific configuration codes are entered into security system to guide system execution as information passed through them. Rule-based policy are more specific to system operation than access control list and may or may not deal directly with users. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi Miss, I'm Divagar Kanyapan from batch 21. My ID number is DEM04223. Now I'm going to present about the guidelines for the policy management. Guidelines consist of recommended non-mandatory controls that help support standard or serve as a reference when no applicable standard is in place. Guidelines should be viewed as best practice that are not usually requirements but are strongly recommended. They could consist of additional recommended controls that support a standard or help fill in the gaps where no specific standards applies. For example, a standard may require password to be 8 characters or more, and a supporting guidelines may state that it is best practice to also ensure the password expires after 30 days. In another examples, a standard may require specific technical controls for accessing the internet securely, and a separate guidelines may outline the best practice for using the internet and managing your online presence. General statements, recommendations, or administrative instructions are designed to achieve the policy's objective by providing a framework within which it implements procedures. Guidelines can change frequently based on the environment and should be reviewed more frequently than standard and policies. Guidelines is not mandatory, rather a suggestion of a best practice. Hence, guidelines and best practice are interchangeable. Thank you.
Okay, a very good morning to my respectful lecturer and my lovely friends. So let me introduce myself first. Okay, my name is Kirubagaran Bhaskar. My ID number is DEM05200004. So I will talk about the topic is about another approach to policy development. Okay, there are three approaches that can be regarded can be used: the analysis centric, the policy process, and the meta policy approach. Okay, the first one, the analysis centric approach, focus on individual problems and their solution. Its scope in the micro scale, and its problem resolution usually involves a technical solution. The premium aim is to identify the most effective and efficient solution in technical and economic terms. Okay, the second one is policy cycle used in the process approach. The policy process approach puts its focal points on two political processes and involved stakeholders. Its scope is the broader mesoscala and problems using a politic lens. Okay, the third thing is the meta policy approach is a system and context approach. Its scope is the micro scala, and its problem is usually of a structural nature. So that's all from me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining me here this evening. I'm Emerson Kunal, student from DEM. I'm here today to talk to you about the Special Application 818 Revision 1 Guide for Developing. They are, in my part, they are got a 13 main point. I'm just didn't explain all things. I just took the main 13 point. Firstly, the objective of the system security planning is to improve the protection of information system resources. The purpose of the system security plan is to provide an overview of the security requirement of the system and describe the control in place and or plan for the meeting those requirements. The system security plan also delineates the responsibility and expected behavior of all individuals who access the system. Audience program managers, system owners, and security personnel in the organization must comprehend the system security planning process. This guide supplies basic information on how to prepare a system security plan and is skilled to be elastic in a variety of organization networks and used as a concern by those having assigned responsibility for activity connected to the security planning. Disclaimer: this hard copy is not published by the National Institute of Standards and Technology NIST, the government, or the Malaysian Department of Commerce. The system security plan also delineates the responsibility of and expected behavior of all individuals who access the system. This procedure has been prepared for use by federal agency. The development, implementation, and assessment of the common security control can be assigned to responsible agency official or organizational elements other than the information system owners whose system will implement or use those common security control, and provides organizations with specific technology related, infrastructure related, public access related, scalability related, common security control related, and risk related consideration on the applicability implements of individual security control in the control baseline. The definition of the information or an information system is based on the assessment of the potential impact that a loss of confidentiality, integrity, or availability of such information or information such system would have organizational operation, organizational assets, or individual. Thank you, Miss, and thank you all.
Good afternoon, Miss. My name is Shalini daughter of Ravi from batch 21. My ID number is DEM 062010-2. I would like to present about conclusion, and the first point is a single document cannot cover all that should be included in a security policy. Consider the business function, the company culture, the budget, and the resources available while developing a security policy. Include all relevant individuals in the policy making process to ensure that all areas of interest and importance are covered. The second point is a solid security policy might amplify the difference between the complete security posture and a paper that isn't taken seriously. The policies that are implemented inside an organization are where security begins, and a huge budget does not guarantee success. The third point is a good policy that is descriptive, distributed, and enforced inside a corporation is what ensures success. Many businesses just copy and paste ready-made IT policy samples from the internet. This is as the attempt to fit their aims and policy goals into a conventional, overly broad structure. However, one size does not fit all. An approach to information security is harmful. And the last point is high quality information security policy can be the difference between a successful operation and one that fails. This exhaustion is backed up by improved, better productivity, clarity of each entity's objective, knowing that IT and data should be safeguarded, and why determining the kind of degrees of protection necessary and defining information security best practice. In today's digital world, having a robust data security strategy is essential if you wanted to lead a successful business. I would like to say thank you and end my presentation until here.
Thank you, Miss, for watching and listening our presentation.